You won't believe this actually happened, but wait till you hear how it ended. Check this out.
What are the funniest stories you've ever heard?
Title: I accidentally sent my boss the wrong photo. I still cringe every time I think about this. A few months ago, I had just started a new office job. Everything was going great, and I was trying to make a good first impression. My boss seemed nice, my coworkers were friendly, and I really didn't want to embarrass myself. That morning, my girlfriend texted me asking what I was wearing to work. I took a normal mirror selfie and sent it to her. Then, just for fun, I made another picture where I crossed my eyes, puffed out my stomach, and posed like a bodybuilder. I added the caption, "Peak human performance." I meant to send that one to her too. Instead, I accidentally sent it to the company group chat. The worst part, there were over 40 people in the chat, including my manager, her department, and the company's CEO. At first, I didn't realize what had happened. I put my phone in my pocket and continued working. About 5 minutes later, my phone started vibrating non-stop. I looked down and saw dozens of notifications. People were reacting with laughing emojis. Someone replied, "Looking strong." Another person wrote, "Promotion confirmed." Then my boss simply replied, "Please come to my office." My heart completely sank. I walked to his office convinced I was about to get fired. When I walked in, he had my photo open on his computer screen. He looked at me for a few seconds without saying anything. Then he burst out laughing. "I've never seen someone destroy their professional reputation this fast," he joked. I apologized at least 10 times. He left again and said, "Relax. Everyone needed a good laugh today." When I left his office, the entire department started clapping as I walked back to my desk. For the next few weeks, people kept calling me peak human performance. Even worse, someone secretly printed the photo and taped it inside the office kitchen cabinet. It stayed there for almost 3 months before someone finally took it down. Now I always double-check who I am sending pictures to before I hit send. Trust me, one wrong tap can become your workplace legacy forever. Title: I walked into the wrong house like I owned the place. This happened a few years ago, and I still can't believe I survived the embarrassment. I had just finished a long shift at work. It was raining. I was exhausted, and all I wanted was to get home, eat dinner, and sleep. I parked my car on the street, grabbed my backpack, and walked straight to my front door. At least, I thought it was my front door. The key didn't work, but I figured maybe I was just tired. Then I noticed the door wasn't completely locked, so I pushed it open and walked inside. Everything looked different. I assumed my roommate had rearranged the furniture again. He was always moving things around for no reason. I even shouted, "Seriously? You moved the couch again?" No answer. I walked into the kitchen and saw a woman staring at me with a spoon frozen halfway to her mouth. We looked at each other for about 5 seconds, then she screamed. I screamed too. A huge dog came running toward me, barking like it wanted to end my entire bloodline. I sprinted out of the house so fast that I left my backpack inside. That's when I finally looked around. My actual house was 2 doors down. Same color, same mailbox, same everything. I had confidently walked into a complete stranger-ass house and complained about their furniture. A few minutes later, the homeowner walked over holding my backpack. Instead of yelling, he was laughing so hard he could barely breathe. He handed me my bag and said, "Next time just knock first." To make things even worse, I saw them almost every weekend after that. Every single time they waved and shouted, "Hey roommate." Title: I accidentally connected my phone to the office TV. My company has a weekly team meeting every Monday morning. About 30 people gather in one room while the manager gives updates. That morning, I arrived early and sat in the back checking funny videos on my phone. The meeting started. The manager connected his laptop to the big TV. Or at least, he thought he did. Suddenly the TV displayed my phone screen instead. I didn't notice, everyone else did. They watched me scroll through memes, cat videos, and a video titled, "Why Do Raccoons Wash Cotton Candy?" Someone quietly said, "Interesting presentation." I looked up. The entire room was staring directly at me. Then I noticed my phone said, "Connected to conference display." I wanted to disappear. I quickly disconnected it and apologized. The manager called and he stopped laughing. He said, "Honestly, your presentation was more entertaining than mine." For weeks afterward, every meeting started with someone asking, "So, what are we watching today?" Title: I had a full conversation with the wrong person. I work in a large office building with dozens of companies. One morning I got into the elevator and saw someone from behind wearing the exact same suit as my coworker. Without thinking, I started talking. I complained about our boss. I complained about the coffee. I even joked that I was pretending to work until lunch. The person nodded the whole time. The elevator stopped. He slowly turned around. It wasn't he, my coworker. It was a complete stranger. Not only that, he worked for the company right next to ours. I apologized immediately. He smiled and said, "Don't you worry. I was pretending to listen until lunch." The entire elevator burst into laughter. I still avoid that elevator whenever I see him. Title: I sent a 2-minute voice message to the wrong person last year. One of my friends cancelled our weekend plans at the last minute. I got annoyed and decided to send another friend a voice message complaining about it. It lasted almost 2 minutes. I explained everything. I even imitated his voice. I thought it was hilarious. After sending it, I put my phone away. About 30 seconds later, I received a reply. It wasn't he from my friend. It was from the person I had been complaining about. I had sent the voice message directly to him. He replied with another voice message. It started with, "That impression of me was actually pretty accurate." I nearly dropped my phone. Then he left and said, "You forgot to mention that I am also always late." Luckily, he wasn't offended. We both ended up laughing about it. Now, every time I send a voice message, I check the chat at least 3 times before pressing send. One wrong tap is all it takes. Title: I waved at someone for 5 straight minutes a few months ago. I was waiting at the airport for my cousin. His flight had been delayed, so I was standing near the arrivals gate trying to spot him in the crowd. Eventually, I saw someone who looked exactly like him. Same height, same jacket, same backpack. I got excited and started waving. Not a normal wave, I mean a huge, ridiculous wave with both arms over my head. The guy looked at me, then he smiled and waved back. Perfect. I kept waving while he slowly walked toward me. He kept smiling. I even shouted his name. People around us started looking. When he was only a few feet away, he suddenly stopped. He looked confused. Then he turned around. Behind him was another guy, my actual cousin. Apparently, I had spent the last 5 minutes enthusiastically greeting a complete stranger. The stranger started laughing so hard he almost dropped his suitcase. My cousin walked over and said, "Do you know him?" The stranger answered before I could. I feel like we do now. We all laughed about it. But I still think about that poor guy every time I pick someone up from the airport. I genuinely thought I was about to be arrested because of a sandwich. A few years ago, I was traveling for work and had a long layover at the airport. I was starving, so I bought the biggest sandwich I could find. It was huge, expensive, and honestly one of the best sandwiches I'd ever seen. My flight started boarding, so I wrapped up half of it and put it in my backpack. A couple of hours later, I landed in another country. As I walked toward the exit, I noticed airport security randomly pulling people aside for bag inspections. I wasn't worried because I had nothing suspicious with me. Or at least I thought I didn't. A security officer pointed at me and asked me to step over. He opened my backpack and immediately frowned. "What is this?" he asked. I completely forgot about the sandwich. He slowly pulled out this giant foil-wrapped object, looked at it, then looked at me. The way he stared at it made me think I'd accidentally smuggled something illegal. He called over another officer. Now there were 2 of them examining my sandwich like it was evidence in a crime scene. People walking by started staring. One officer asked, "Did you pack this yourself?" I answered, "Yes." He asked, "Has anyone else touched it?" At that point I was so nervous that I started overthinking every answer. I said, "Well, the guy at the sandwich shop made it." Neither of them left. They carefully opened the foil. Inside was the messiest sandwich imaginable. The sauce had leaked everywhere. One tomato slice fell onto the inspection table. There was complete silence. Then the younger officer looked at the older one and quietly said, "It actually smells pretty good." The older officer sighed, closed my backpack, and handed it back. He said, "Next time, don't wrap food like you're transporting government secrets." I apologized, grabbed my bag, and started walking away. As I was leaving, I heard one officer ask the other, "Do you think the airport cafe sells sandwiches like that?" After all that stress, I ended up throwing the sandwich away because I wasn't hungry anymore. To this day, whenever I travel, I make absolutely sure that any food in my bag is easy to recognize. I never expected a turkey sandwich to become the most suspicious item I'd ever carry through an airport.
Which story made you laugh the most? Drop it in the comments and hit that subscribe button.